My name's Flynn. I'm a freelance photographer from Brisbane, Australia. Over the last 7 years, I've developed an addiction, and it's one that many people around the globe share. It affects our habits, dictates our moods, and has become a culture all of its own. You know I'm talking about caffeine. For many of us, caffeine is what we need to bring us to life in the morning, or it's what we need to push through that afternoon slump. My love of coffee is what's been driving my caffeine addiction to the levels that it is, and coffee is something that I love the process of. Recently, however, I've started taking a closer look at my habits and how they drive my interactions with the world. I personally believe that we should regularly assess our habits to determine whether they're providing value to us or if there's an opportunity for growth through disruption. Because I love the ritual of coffee, the flavour, the smell of it, trying new blends, going out with friends for coffee, the social aspect, I don't want coffee to leave my life, but I do want to disrupt my addiction to caffeine, so I've had to find another way to kick the habit. So over the next 30 days, I'm going to switch to drinking decaf only, which is about 99% caffeine free. I won't be drinking any Coke or Pepsi or anything like that. I'll be trying to eliminate all of that out of my diet as well. And the idea is just to reset my body and see how my body functions without coffee. Normally I drink about 3 to 5 cups of coffee a day, which is quite a lot. And so I've done that for about the last 5 years. So I don't actually know what I'm like without caffeine coursing through my veins. So I'll be intrigued to see what it feels like at the end. I've heard some people say that they feel foggy of mind when drinking coffee, and that stifles their creativity a bit. And that's obviously something that's really concerning to me, someone who works in the creative industry. I'm hoping that's not how it's going to play out for me. I'm hoping that at the end of the 30 days, I'll feel exactly the same as I did with drinking coffee, because I'm really looking forward to getting straight back on that bandwagon. But yeah, I think it deserves to be explored and see kind of what can come of it. This is day 5 of my caffeine detox, and the last 5 days have been rough. Like, it's been pretty bad. From about halfway through the second day onwards, I've just had a constant headache that just won't go away. Today, thankfully, it's a little bit less than it was yesterday. So I'm hoping that over the next coming days, it'll continue to decline, and then I'll be able to be just headache free and sometime next week. I've also been suffering from mood swings. I had a complete tantrum the other day because I bought some shirts and they were a little bit too long. I just wasn't emotionally capable of handling that situation at all. So that was interesting. I'm hoping that next week the caffeine will completely leave my system and I won't be having as many symptoms anymore. And then I can potentially start seeing some of the benefits of that. Starting this challenge, I didn't do any research on different decaffeination processes or different decafs that were available. I just leapt into it blindly and bought the first bag of decaf that I could find. After posting online, I got a lot of messages from people saying that the reason that they haven't switched to decaf is because of chemicals involved in the process. So after hearing this, I was a little bit concerned and thought that I should do some of my own research on the different decaffeination processes. And after doing this brief research, I found a decaffeination process that I thought would be perfect for me, as it is a completely natural decaffeination process. And that process is called the Swiss water process. So the Swiss water process is a decaffeination process that just uses water, temperature, and carbon to remove the caffeine from green beans. And the way that they do that is they get green beans and sit it in pure water and allow it to soak. While it's soaking, all the solubles from the green beans are transferred into the water. So that's your flavors, your sugars, and your caffeine are now in this water. That water is then run through a carbon filtration system and the caffeine is burnt out of it. And this green coffee extract is what they use to soak further batches of green beans to remove the caffeine. So once they've got a new batch of green beans, which are due for decaffeination, they sit it in the green coffee extract and let it soak for 8 to 10 hours. And because all the green coffee extract has all the solubles from green coffee already in it, the only thing that comes across is the caffeine. So you're left with these amazing green beans that are just 99.9% caffeine free, but still have all the flavors and all the good stuff of caffeine, including the antioxidants. These are then dried out, bagged, and sent to roasteries all around the world so that roasters are able to do what they do best and really bring out the flavors of every bean, which gives you such a wide variety of different flavors and tastes, which is what we as coffee lovers really like. So finding this process was a real burden eased on me, because I know now that I'm drinking natural coffee, which has all the good stuff and all the benefit of coffee, just without the caffeine. It's day 31 of my caffeine-free challenge, and I'm really excited to say that I did complete the challenge. I haven't had any caffeine over the last 30 days, and I'm really proud about that. I fully thought that I was going to fall completely off the bandwagon as soon as those headaches started rolling in, as soon as I started getting mood swings and all that kind of thing. But I've stuck it out, and now that I've come out the other side of that, I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling way more energized, and I'm really glad that I learned the things that I learned about decaf coffee along the way. So it's been some pretty interesting points, and we'll get into those. The first thing I wanted to talk about was decaf coffee. And without decaf coffee, there is no way I would have been able to complete this challenge. Going into it, I'd never tried decaf before. I'd had lots of negative misconceptions that I think were passed on to me from other people. A lot of people turn their nose up to decaf, thinking that maybe it doesn't taste as good or it's unhealthy. And that's just completely not true. Decaf coffee is the same as any other coffee, where roasteries will roast it to their liking. And so if you try one brand of decaf and it's not to your liking, just try a different brand. There is 100% a decaf out there that will taste good for you. So if you want to kick caffeine, but not actually give up coffee, decaf is 100% the way to go, and I'm glad I took that route. And so that kind of leads me into being caffeine-free. Being caffeine-free has actually been really a positive experience for me, because of the fact that after the negative impacts of my addiction went away, so like the headaches and the mood swings, I've found myself with a lot more energy in the mornings. So I think previously when I woke up, I needed to have a coffee first to get going. So I'd get up, make my coffee, maybe sit down with a screen like my phone and watch something while I drink my coffee. And then after I drank the coffee, I wasn't really hungry or anything, so I'd just kind of get to work. Whereas now I'm finding as soon as I wake up, I'm ready to go. Like, I've got way more energy in the morning. So I've been getting up and going for walks and listening to podcasts while I'm walking. So that's had a really good knock-on impact for me. So I'm getting outside more, I'm learning, and that's been really good, as well as the fact that my morning appetite has come back. So obviously if you're doing like intermittent fasting or anything like that, maybe having a little bit of caffeine in the morning might be beneficial to you to help you get through that morning period. But for me, I'm not. So I get to come home after my walk, have some breakfast, and then make a decaf coffee and start work. So that's been really beneficial for me, and it's something that I'm super surprised about. I thought there was going to be absolutely no difference to me between having caffeine and not. But that's it. I find myself with way more energy in the morning, and it's really impacting other aspects of my life in a positive way. So I'm super thankful for that. With the fact that I'm drinking decaf coffee and I'm not really missing out on any of the social aspects of going out for coffee or anything like that, I'm really, really surprised to say that drinking decaf coffee is actually going to be a permanent thing for me. I'm not going to bring caffeine back into my life unless it's like the once-off thing. Like if I go to a cafe and they don't have decaf, then I will drink normal coffee. But from day to day, I'm 100% staying off caffeine now, and that's just how it's going to be forever. And I'm I'm so happy that that is an outcome of it. I didn't think it was going to be, but it goes to show you that just trying these little 30-day challenges and stuff like that can actually lead to life-changing decisions. And so I'm pretty stoked with that. Thanks for watching my video. I hope you found it really informative and thought-provoking on potentially ways that you could disrupt your own habits with caffeine and some ideas on how to do that. I'm really glad that I did. And so I hope you also have that journey as well. And if you're thinking about it or have any questions, you're more than welcome to reach out to me in the comments, and I'll answer them as best I can or point you in the direction of where that information might be found. But yeah, for now, I'll say goodbye and see you in the next video.